Have you ever had one of those conversations, a single moment, a totally unexpected encounter that just changes everything? History is full of them. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most unlikely conversations ever recorded, a conversation that, by all accounts, should never have happened, and yet it sparked a complete revolution of being.
Okay, so to really get how wild this story is, you have to understand the world it happened in. Between Jews and Samaritans, this wasn't just some minor disagreement. This was deep, historical hatred. I mean, we're talking about centuries of bad blood, so much so they wouldn't even share a cup. So a respected Jewish teacher would never, and I mean never, be caught talking to a Samaritan in public, let alone a Samaritan woman. The barriers weren't just high, they were absolute. This meeting was impossible.
And that brings us to the big question, right? What on earth could be important enough to shatter all those rules? What could possibly drive someone to break every social and religious taboo for a simple chat by a well? Well, let's find out.
So the story kicks off in a really ordinary way. You've got a woman coming to a well in the middle of a hot day. It's a chore she's probably done 1,000 times. Her entire world in that moment is about one thing: getting water. For her, water means survival. It means hard, repetitive, daily work. Her whole reality is seen through that lens.
So when Jesus offers her living water, her response, wow, it tells you everything you need to know. She doesn't hear some deep spiritual metaphor. Nope. She hears a practical solution to her biggest daily headache. She's basically thinking, awesome, no more heavy lifting, no more these long trips to the well. Her mind is completely on convenience, not something transcendent.
And right here, this is the first huge pivot in the whole conversation. Jesus gently shifts the focus away from her immediate physical problem to a much deeper existential one. He's trying to move her from thinking about the temporary thirst for water to the permanent thirst of the human soul. This is the leap from just surviving to actually existing.
And then, bam, the conversation takes this incredibly personal, almost shockingly direct turn. With just one sentence, he cuts through all the polite chatter and touches the most painful hidden part of her life. He sees the story she's been trying to hide from everyone.
So what's the deal with these 5 husbands? You see, this is about more than just a string of bad relationships. It's about a life spent desperately searching for fulfillment in all the wrong places. Every single one of those relationships was a new hope for love, for security, for feeling worthy, each one a false savior that promised everything but left her feeling more empty than before.
And that brings us to the second shift. The very moment the stranger sees her hidden truth, her life of avoidance collides with a moment of raw honesty. But instead of running away, she actually leans in. She acknowledges what he knows, even calls him a prophet. Suddenly, her life isn't something to be ashamed of and hidden. It's something that has finally, truly been seen.
Now, get this. Instead of crumbling in shame, she does something incredible. She asks one of the biggest religious questions of the day. Where's the right place to worship God? And this isn't just her trying to change the subject. This is her saying, okay, you see all of me, the whole messy story. So now what? How do I actually connect with God?
And Jesus' answer is a total game changer. He completely reframes the entire debate. He basically says, the time is coming. In fact, it's already here, where you worship doesn't matter at all. It's not about this mountain or that temple. It's about what's going on inside the human heart.
And that's shift number 3. The conversation moves from religion, the external rules, the buildings, the where, to relationship, the internal reality, the who you are. Worship suddenly isn't a place you go to, it's a state of being. It's about your spirit connecting with God's spirit in total honesty.
Okay, so the conversation is reaching its absolute peak. She's gone from survival to personal truth to the nature of real worship. But all of this is still kind of theological, right? It's still ideas. Well, the final life-altering step is about to happen. The moment all this abstract knowledge becomes intensely personal.
And here's something you gotta get. She wasn't clueless. She had the core belief of her people down. She says it herself. She knows the Messiah is coming, the one who will make everything clear. She had the information. She knew about a savior.
And then he says it, just like that. With those simple words, the gap between a future hope and a present reality just vanishes. The truth is no longer an idea to be discussed, it's a person standing right in front of her.
And that, right there, that's the 4th shift. And it is everything.
It's the massive difference between knowing all the facts about someone and actually meeting them. You can have all the religious information in the world, but it's the personal encounter that actually changes you. And for her, in that instant, knowledge became encounter.
So what happens when your entire reality gets flipped upside down in a single moment? What does that kind of transformation even look like? Well, in her story, it's all captured in one small but unbelievably powerful symbolic act.
The text gives us this tiny detail that's so easy to just read past. She left her water jar. The very thing she came for, the whole reason she was at that well, is just forgotten, left behind.
So why is that such a big deal? Because that water jar, that was her entire old life in one object. It represented the endless cycle of working for something that could never truly satisfy. It was her thirst, her survival, all her failed attempts at finding life. By leaving it behind, she was basically screaming that she'd found a new source, a living water, and the old way of doing things was over.
And this is the final, just mind-blowing shift. The woman who came to the well alone, probably during the hottest part of the day just to avoid running into people and feeling their judgment, is transformed. The person who lived in shame becomes a bold messenger. She literally runs back to the very town she was hiding from to tell everyone her story.
So if you map it out, her whole journey follows these 5 stages. It's a clear path. She starts at survival, just focused on her physical needs. Then she moves to truth, where she has to be honest about her life. That pushes her to worship, to seek God. That opens the door for a personal encounter. And finally, that encounter launches her into a brand new mission.
And what's so powerful about this is that it's not just her story. It's really a universal blueprint. This 5-stage journey, it's the path that anyone takes when their life is completely turned around by an encounter with a deep, profound truth.
And that brings it all right back to us, doesn't it? Her story hands us a pretty pointed question for our own lives. What's the thing you carry around every single day, the thing you're counting on to quench your thirst? What's your water jar?
You know, maybe it's the jar of success at work, thinking the next promotion will finally be enough. Or maybe it's the jar of public approval, chasing likes and validation online. It could be achievement, finding the perfect relationship, or protecting your reputation. These are the water jars we carry today, the things we think will finally make us whole, but somehow they never do.
And in the end, that's what this ancient story is really all about. It shows us that truly recognizing truth isn't just about learning something new or changing your opinion. It's about letting that truth get inside you and rebuild who you are from the ground up. It doesn't just change how you think, it creates a total revolution of your being.